Original recipe or Van Milder here? Oh, it's funny. I can gently tap the fourth wall too. The proposal.
I think it's safe to say that most people agree that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has at least temporarily hit a wall. After over a decade, Marvel has had to start shifting some of their biggest actors and franchises around. And the multiverse phase has been met with a lackluster reaction, to say the least. The term superhero fatigue has become very common in media, as many viewers get frustrated getting attached to many new Marvel characters after the explosion of Avengers Endgame. However, one franchise within Marvel that's still going strong is Deadpool, and a big part of that is that it's continually had a strong combination of humor and action, with Ryan Reynolds' often annoyingly self-aware blend of meta references, fourth wall breaking, and R-rated vulgarity, mixed with action sequences that are able to be far more graphic than the rest of the Marvel films. Deadpool is a comic character basically tailor-made for Ryan Reynolds as a Canadian with the same height, build, hair, and eye color, and they both have triple alliterative names. Deadpool has even been described as looking like Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei. And Ryan Reynolds has taken this character and ran with it, becoming not just a producer, but a co-writer of the last two movies, and even improvising many of his lines. Deadpool has won over audiences by not just being self-aware, but actually nipping at the hand that feeds it. By parodying the superhero genre and making jokes at the expense of the MCU and other Marvel franchises like X-Men, and even at the expense of studios, both Disney and Fox. Deadpool, aka Wade Winston Wilson, has taken pains to remind the audiences that he isn't a hero, a former Special Forces operative turned morally flexible mercenary.
4 or 5 moments.
I'm sorry?
4 or 5 moments, that's all it takes.
To
Be a hero.
In 2016's Deadpool, the second ever R-rated superhero movie put out by Marvel, Deadpool has turned from a likable, handsome scumbag into a hideously scarred mutant freak after being diagnosed with terminal cancer and being given a business card from what is assumed to be a government-run laboratory that makes superheroes, but is actually a privately run mutant factory that makes slaves. Deadpool is tortured and turned into a hideously scarred monster, who has regenerative abilities and cannot die. In the second Deadpool, or Deadpool 2 as it's known, Deadpool puts together the X-Force team to fight against the time-traveling cyber soldier, Cable, played by Josh Brolin. Deadpool is technically the 8th and Deadpool 2 the 11th installment of the X-Men films, which have had a very mixed track record, unlike their far more successful cousins in the MCU, at least before all the multiverse movies we've suddenly gotten. This brings us to tonight's film, Deadpool and Wolverine, the first time Deadpool crosses into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Director Sean Levy has made it clear this is not Deadpool 3, because of course they couldn't just make the chronology easy. After Deadpool's success as an R-rated superhero film, James Mangold directed Logan as an R-rated Wolverine film. However, unlike Tim Miller, Brett Reese, and Paul Wernick, who wrote and directed Deadpool as a meta-referential comedy, Mangold's foray into R-rated superhero films was gritty, brutal, and intensely emotional, with the aging Hugh Jackman ready to hang up his claws after 9 appearances as Wolverine. Logan dies at the end of the movie, seemingly passing the torch to his daughter. But just when he thought he was out, they pulled him back in. Deadpool and Wolverine is able to bring him back because it exists to take the piss out of all the MCU multiverse movies. Wolverine is back, not as our brave, fearless Logan, but as the worst version of Logan, from the worst timeline where he got all the X-Men killed. Deadpool pulls Wolverine out of that timeline in order to use him as an anchor being to save Deadpool's timeline, where Logan is already dead. After the timeline is under threat from Mr. Paradox, aka Evil Tom Wamsgams, who works at the TVA, the Tennessee Valley, the Time Variance Authority, Deadpool and Wolverine are trapped within the Void, where over a dozen well-known Marvel characters have also been trapped, with references to Wesley Snipes' Blade, the first R-rated Marvel movie, as well as Fantastic Four. It's cameos galore in that Mad Max-style Void. They need to get out of the Void if they're ever going to save Deadpool's universe. They also need to learn to work together, something both Deadpool and Wolverine have always been reluctant to do. I appreciated that this Deadpool sequel is willing to just shit all over the whole multiverse thing. It's just like every MCU movie now. It's not everything everywhere all at once, but I had enough of it there, and then Into the Spider-Verse was good. That's enough. Deadpool Wolverine has been a massive success at the box office and is on track to make $1 billion by the end of the month, and is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time, showing studios that it's okay to make R-rated movies for a mass audience again. In recent years, more studios have aimed at PG-13 ratings than R. It's the play it safe model that sees already existing IP aimed squarely at the PG-13 rating as the safest bet. It also isn't afraid to satirize the way that Disney and Fox had previously divided up this IP. With Disney buying up the MCU in 2009 and 20th Century Fox owning X-Men and Fantastic Four, this has made crossing the franchises together extremely difficult. Frustrating filmmakers and fans of the studios clung to their territory. In 2019, Disney finally bought 21st Century Fox, including all the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. Marvel Studios is planning to integrate it all into the MCU, but thankfully, Deadpool got to take a crack at the MCU first.
So, what made you finally wear an honest-to-God costume? Mine's red so they can't see me bleed. But I could see how yellow would be useful, too.
Have you been checked for ADHD?
Mm-mm.